guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about my labor and delivery story. I'm really excited to be sharing my story with you guys. I've been wanting to about my story. A lot of people usually ask me about my labor and delivery. They ask me how my contractions were, how I handled it, how I experienced it, how was the epidural, usually stuff like that. So I'm so excited that I'm going to be telling you guys my story today. So I'm going to start off with telling you guys about the ending of my third trimester, symptoms, my doctor's visits, and how I felt. Then I'm gonna lead into talking to you guys about my labor and then my delivery of my son. So to start things off, I would go to the doctors every week. It all started at 37 weeks. When they first started checking my cervix, it's when they start checking your cervix if you dilate. Usually getting a pound every week. Then the doctors, it was usually fast because they would just check my cervix, check my baby's heartbeat, and they would measure me. So it was usually a fast visit towards the end. At 37 weeks, they started checking my cervix, and I had my son at 39 weeks. It wasn't really checking my cervix a lot. I think they only checked it twice. They checked my cervix. I was dilated 1 centimeter. It wasn't really like I was dilated a lot because to actually push, it's 10 centimeters. So it was only 1. So I was like, okay, I'm dilating, like I'm excited, but I wanted to speed the process up. I was going outside, I was exercising, I was walking, a lot of walking, like up the labor process. So I would do a lot of walking, and I would look up videos on YouTube of exercises to do to make your labor be faster. I was doing everything, and I felt like I still wasn't like dilating and I wasn't going into labor. So I was like, are you serious? This is taking forever. Those were my doctor's visits. My symptoms during the third trimester, really to like the ending of my pregnancy, like 35 to 39 weeks. During the ending of my pregnancy, my symptoms got worse. I felt like I was in constant pain all the time. I felt like I could never get comfortable. Sometimes I felt like crying. Everything was so uncomfortable, and I felt like I was just being smushed all the time. I felt like I couldn't breathe half the time. I would literally be out of breath, and I am asthmatic, but I would just walk and I would just be like, because I just felt, you feel so heavy, like I felt like I was dropping to the floor. During the end, I would always be holding my belly, like waddling around. I just feel really heavy, and when I would go into the pool, I would feel a lot better because I felt like the weight just lifted off of me. So that's a good idea if you are pregnant. Just go in the pool and go for a swim and you won't feel as heavy. I would get really bad leg cramps to the point where I wanted to cry. They would just cramp up so bad. It would be very uncomfortable, and my boyfriend would have to give me a massage. He would give me massages, and I would drink lots of water because you're supposed to drink lots of water during your pregnancy. And people usually say like soak in the tub, but I was scared to take a bath because I was scared that it would like hurt my baby or something if the water was too hot. But yeah, that's just the way how I was. But you can take bath towards the end. I would constantly go in and out of the bathroom during the whole day, during the whole night, like 24/7 in and out of the bathroom. I would either go through a whole roll of toilet paper or almost a whole roll of toilet paper. It was ridiculous. Sometimes I sat and I waited to go to the bathroom, and I didn't even have to go to the bathroom. 1 second. Sometimes I sat in to go to the bathroom and I didn't even have to go to the bathroom. I just felt so much pressure, and it's really annoying because you just feel so much pressure and you feel like a tingly feeling, and you'll just be sitting there like trying to go and you just don't have to go. I would feel like my feet cramp up. My feet would hurt. Like, you know how you have like swollen feet? So I had swollen feet, and I'd be walking a lot, and that's usually when you're walking when you're like all of the time. So my feet would hurt like all the time. It was basically like I just didn't feel like wearing gym shoes anymore because it just hurts your feet. You just want to wear like flip-flops and stuff to make you comfortable. But just wear anything that I can to make me feel comfortable. Feel like really dizzy when I would be hungry, tired, or really thirsty. I would feel dizzy. 18 weeks pregnant, and I ended up fainting and passing out because I was so hot. I had a jacket on and I had a hat on. I had a whole bunch of winter stuff on because it was winter and I just wanted to be warm, get comfortable to go to bed, and it wouldn't happen because my belly was so big. And whenever I would lay or try to switch positions, my son would just be moving and kicking, or I would be hungry where I can't fall asleep, or I'd just be thirsty and I just had to get up, or sometimes you just feel like you're up, like you can't go to bed. So it really stinks because you're supposed to get as much sleep as you can, and I was just trying to go to sleep and I couldn't really get comfortable. My boyfriend was playing his video game. As he was playing his video game, I started feeling really like bad pains. Like it was like cramp up like this, feeling like little cramping. And we did have a false alarm when I went to the hospital. My boyfriend was telling me to do breathing exercises because we did go to a birthing class and we learned a lot of things about labor, and I seen videos and I was scared going to labor. Like, those were my feelings. I was excited to meet our son. I wanted to see so bad, wanted to know who he looked like more. You can see him on the ultrasound, but I just wanted to see his face, how he actually looked, like his eyes, everything. And I was so excited to meet him. I was upset because I wasn't so much pain, and I was happy. And me and my boyfriend started doing exercises. We started doing squats, we started stretching. Then we went to the staircase in my house because we have a staircase that goes right here to the door and then down to the basement. So it's basically a two-set of staircase. So we were going down the stairs, and then as we were going up, I felt so much in pain. Like, we started going up the stairs. We started going up the stairs, and I felt that pain. Like, I didn't want to move. Like, I was literally just slowly stepping. I didn't even want to walk up the stairs. I sat down. I was like, I cannot do this. And he was like, come on, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. So then I finally walk up the stairs outside because I have a narrow staircase going down to our backyard. And I was like, oh, well, let's try walking down those stairs. And I was sitting there and I was like, I can't. I'm too much pain. When you feel like those contractions, you don't want to do anything really. You just want to sit there and just scream and cry and try to figure out a way that can help you, that can make you feel better, that can make you feel comfortable, that can make you relax. I know it wasn't even that much bleeding. I was just scared because I was like, oh my God. Because when you're pregnant, you're really emotional. We get into the car. I was hitting bumps, and I felt that just made me feel even worse. My contractions were killing me. I was sitting there, she was going, I was like, can you slow down? They're like, can't help the bumps. And I was like, well, can you go a little slower or do something else because these bumps are hurting me. We finally get to the hospital. Like, it took forever to get from the house to the hospital. So we finally got to the hospital, and my boyfriend gets the wheelchair and he puts me in the wheelchair. And we go to the front desk, and you know, you have to register in the bracelet with your information on it. La-di-da-di-da. We go and we have to wait to get into a room. So they finally get us in a room. Labor and delivery, yet they had us in this other room. And they put monitor on my belly. It was for my contractions, to monitor my contractions and to monitor the baby's heartbeat. And I can look at the screen with my contractions on it. And they were at like 60. The nurses were going in and out of the room, checking on me, and they kept checking my cervix. And they say, oh, you're only at 2. And I was like, only at 2. I'm feeling a lot of pain. And they're like, you haven't dilated that much. And they're like, you were only 1, but then I went to 2. They were like, if you don't dilate anymore, you are going to have to go home. And I was like, are you serious? You're gonna send me home with this much pain? I was getting pissed. I was like, you're gonna send me home with this much pain? How am I not dilating? Because my contractions were hurting me. And I was going to the bathroom and stuff. I had this like little bucket because I didn't want to get up. And it was me, my boyfriend, my mom, and my dad. My mom and my dad left the room and went into the waiting room. And it was just me and my boyfriend. And we were sitting there. I was laying there and I'm like, babe, I think I'm peeing. And he's like, what? And I was like, I feel like I'm peeing. Like something's leaking out of me. Can you look? And he lifts up and he looks. He's like, babe, that's not pee. Because I was sitting on this pad. He's like, your water broke. And I was like, what? My water broke? I was like, are you serious? And he's like, it's like all leaking out. And he's like, nurse! He runs out of the room and he goes and he finds like a nurse and he gets the nurses and he's like, her water broke. The nurses get in the room and they pick up the pad that I was laying under and it was filled. My boyfriend said like it had an earthy smell, like it didn't smell like pee. So that's how we knew, because in my class they told us that your water breaking has like an earthy, some type of smell that you can't really tell a lot. So it was like, wow. But they threw out the pad and the lady goes to me and she goes, oh, well, she's like, yeah, you're gonna stay now. We gotta get you in a labor and delivery room. And they put this IV in my arm right here. They put it, you know how IVs usually go here? No, they put it like right here. They put it on my arm like this way. I hate IVs and needles. I cannot. Like this one right here hurts really bad. I didn't really notice my arm IV because I was just so distracted by like my contractions. So then she leaves and she's like, oh, well, we'll get you into labor and delivery as soon as we can. There's a lot. And it's me and my boyfriend in there. After my water broke, my contractions got way worse. They got to the point like I was shaking. It was really scary. I was like, felt like it was like kind of like a seizure. I was shaking like this in the bed and my boyfriend was looking. He was just like, oh my God. I was like going like this, like couldn't move. And you can see it on the screen. You could see your thing goes like 60. Mine were reached to the hundreds. I was screaming for them and they weren't really helping because they're like, oh, you have to wait for it to get into the room. I needed that epidural. My boyfriend was getting really upset looking at me like that. He's like, well, I can't really do anything to help you. I only got in the room and they're like, oh, we'll move you to labor and delivery. So they had me sit into a wheelchair and the labor and delivery. And as I was in the wheelchair, I was just feeling like the contractions. I was just crying. I was in so much pain. I finally got into my room. They say the anesthesiologist, they asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I was like, yes. I was like, give me that epidural. My boyfriend and them had to leave the room. It could only just be me and them in there. My family leaves the room and it's just me in there, and I'm scared because I don't like needles as it is, and I don't know how it is to have an epidural, and I don't know what I didn't know how I was gonna feel. I didn't know if I was gonna be in pain. They told me to lean forward and they were doing it. All I just felt was pressure. When I got the epidural, it didn't hurt. I didn't really feel it. I was just so distracted on trying to stay still because of my contraction. I was just scared if I moved, if it would mess up or if anything bad would happen. So I was scared for that, but I was just trying to stay as still as I can. Put the epidural in my back, and I think they told me that they had to do a test dose to make sure I wasn't like allergic or something. So they did like the test, and they're like, oh, you're fine. And they started giving me the medicine patch over my back, and I laid down, and as soon as I got the epidural, I laid down and I felt so much better. I literally just felt numbed. It was really, I felt great. I felt numbed. I wasn't feeling the pain anymore. My boyfriend and them got back in the room. I told them, I just kept asking, can you have my boyfriend? Can you have my boyfriend? Can you have my family? My boyfriend, I guess, was walking back and forth, freaking out, asking, like, he was like, I want to go up there. What are they doing to her? I don't know. But he was saying that, then they got in the room, and I was just like, hey guys, and they were like, what? Because when they left the room, I was just, I guess, we're getting further apart. They went back in my room and they put something in my IV to speed up and as soon as they put in my IV, I started feeling the pain again, and I was like, what did you just put in there? I was feeling the cramps and everything, and I was just laying there screaming, crying. I was like, somebody help. My family was just tired. They put a higher dosage of the epidural so that I could be numb again, and then after that I was numb again and it was fine. So I was just laying there in the bed, and it was a long process. I was in labor for like 21 hours, and I went without an epidural for 7 hours. When they first started checking me before I got labor and delivery, I was only 2 centimeters dilated. Then when we moved to labor and delivery, and they went to go and check me, I was 6 centimeters dilated. They left and they came back into the room, and I was 10 centimeters dilated. That's when they told me that I had to start pushing. I was so mad because I wanted water, and they're like, we can give you ice chips, and I was like, I don't want ice chips, I want some water. I feel myself pushing. I felt pushing, but I didn't really feel pain. I just felt pressure because I had the epidural, so I didn't really feel much. Felt anything down here. I didn't feel my stomach to my legs, my toes. I couldn't feel. When I had the epidural, they actually put something inside. When I pee, like, it would go through this tube into this little pee bag. I couldn't get up. They wouldn't allow you. They told me it was time to push. Told me when I felt like I had to poo to push. When I felt a contraction, to let them know, and then they would look at the screen and they would tell me to push. My boyfriend was standing at the top and my mom was at like the bottom, and my boyfriend was just watching the whole thing. I could see his head, and I'm just like his head popped out, and then he finally came out. So he was born. I was so excited. I just felt like I was just laying there. I was just like, seeing how much he weighs, looking at him, making sure he's okay. He was born at 2:35 p.m. and he was 7 pounds 7 ounces and 20 inches long. So I was holding him, and I was so excited because I finally had him. I do skin to skin time. I was breastfeeding him, tiny little fingers. His face, he was so beautiful. He looks just like his daddy. He was a little fat, and it was hurting so bad. They had to get the placenta out, the afterbirth, and they were pushing and pushing and pushing on my stomach, and I just felt like I wanted to cry. I was screaming. It hurt so bad, and they're like, oh, do you want to see your placenta? And I actually seen it, and it looked so scary. It was in this thing, and I was like, oh my god, that's... After they got out the placenta, they checked me, and they told me that I did not need stitches. I just had this little tear, but they told me that I didn't have to get stitches for that. After the birth, it hurted so bad. When they took out the epidural, I felt so much pain. I was bleeding really bad. They gave me this underwear, boxers looking thing with ice pack, witch hazel pads that I put over it, and then I would wear it as a diaper, and it hurted so bad. I was crying. I had bad hemorrhoids. They had to give me cream for that. They gave me stool softeners for my first bowel movement. And when I went pee, it didn't really hurt that bad. And then when I did actually have a first bowel movement, it didn't hurt that bad. I had like a little belly. I lost all my baby weight a week or two. My button looked weird. I did notice the stretch marks afterwards. Really awful. I was pregnant. I actually taste the stuff afterwards, and I was like, oh, and I could finally drink pop. I was so excited to drink pop. Experience, it was really beautiful. Breastfeeding, it was a little hard for me at first baby, and I didn't really know how to do it that well. The nurses, and they gave me this nipple shield to put on. It was kind of hard to get him to latch on. They were showing me different positions. The bonding with my son was very beautiful with me and with his father. They had us do skin to skin. He would be directly onto my skin, or he would be directly onto my boyfriend's skin. He loved to hear the breathing, and he loves to hear the heartbeat, and it makes him feel safe. We would love to do skin to skin with him. When it came to sleeping, it was hard for us because we had a newborn. When we were in the hospital, we were really tired and out of it. I had to ask like questions about like his name, like what we should put on his birth certificate. Like nurses were in and out of the room. It was really hard the first couple of days. I took a shower at the hospital. I just felt like my insides were gonna fall out. Everything hurted so bad. After 2 days, and they finally circumcised him and they brought him back into the room. That was like the only time he left the room. He was always in the room with us. They have like a hearing test, and at first he failed his hearing test, which made us a little bit worried, but they said that to not worry about that because usually they fail, but he passed it the next day and everything was good. And we knew he wasn't like deaf because whenever he would hear a noise, he would freak out. Like when the toilet would flush in the hospital, he would look, oh, he can hear. His circumcision was okay. He was really fussy when that happened. We had to log his feeding time, the diapers he was going through. Like we finally got it to go home, got his car seat and everything, and they wheeled me out of the hospital, put him in the car, and we had to bring him home, and he was so cute. His going home outfit was so cute. I was so excited now that we finally had him. Like I said, I was just in so much pain afterwards, and I'm gonna go into more detail of that. I'm gonna do a postpartum recovery video. This was my labor and delivery video. I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to have more videos.